Welcome to The Explainer. I'm coming to you right now with a critical news brief regarding the immediate access protocols currently in place for high-value digital destinations. Specifically, the fresh intelligence we've got outlines the exact process you'll run into when trying to connect to OpenAI.com. This isn't your standard, seamless web browsing experience where you just click and go. What we're actually looking at here is a dynamic, highly structured digital border checkpoint. Think of it as a sophisticated anti-bot shield completely designed to protect those massive server loads from aggressive DDoS attacks and automated scraping. And here's the thing, every single user, no exceptions, has to clear this protocol before gaining entry. It's swift, it's clinical, and it operates entirely in the background, right up until it needs you to comply. Let's break down exactly what's happening at the perimeter.
Okay, let's dive into this. The very first piece of incoming intelligence we have centers on that mandatory sudden pause users slam into at this digital border. When you try to access the platform, you don't just, walk right through an open door. The system literally halts your progress immediately with a very simple yet absolute directive: just a moment. And wow, this brilliantly illustrates the whole modern security paradigm. It's a deliberate disruption. But it's not just some virtual waiting room. It's actually a trap for automated scripts because, bots usually try to rush the door, right? And they completely fail to process these dynamic delays. So you're placed in this holding pattern. The system is essentially telling you that before any data exchange can actually happen, time must be taken to assess your incoming connection. You're at the checkpoint, and the gates are temporarily closed.
While you're held in that just-a-moment holding pattern, a brief, completely invisible sequence of clinical security events is firing off in the background. We can break this down into a highly structured procedural flow. Step 1 is exactly what we just observed, the pause, slamming the brakes on automated progression. Step 2? That's verification. This is where the background interrogation gets deeply technical. The system is rapidly checking your IP reputation, looking closely at your browser fingerprinting, and desperately searching for signs of genuine human behavior rather than just some automated scraper. And finally, step 3 is the intended connection, the actual bridge to your destination. So the absolute crucial takeaway here is that this isn't some random delay because of network lag. No way. It is a meticulously designed 3-step funnel, engineered to filter absolutely every single incoming request.
And then, the readout indicates a major shift in status. The system issues an update. Verification successful. Consider this your breaking news ticker alert, confirming that the initial security clearance has officially been achieved. You've passed the invisible background checks. The system has evaluated your initial ping, analyzed your digital footprint during that mandatory pause, and finally determined that your connection is valid enough to proceed past the outermost perimeter. The verification is complete, and it's a success. But, as our intelligence reports clearly show, passing this phase absolutely does not mean you've arrived at your destination just yet.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the dual state of your connection at this exact phase of the protocol. On one hand, we've got the passive server-side holding pattern. The system is stating it's waiting for OpenAI.com to respond. The initial verification is done, right? And now your browser is basically twiddling its thumbs, waiting for the destination server to acknowledge the clearance and send over the site data. But pivoting over to the other side of the equation, we see a crucial shift to active client-side requirements. The prompt reads, "Enable settings to continue." This is a massive shift. It means the process is no longer just happening to you. The protocol now demands specific active conditions from your local machine to finalize this digital handshake.
To actually make that connection happen and finally move past the waiting phase, the process dictates some very specific, essential technical settings. The system explicitly mandates that you enable JavaScript and cookies to continue. Now look, this isn't just about making sure a modern web page looks pretty. This is the final, non-negotiable step of the access protocol's security architecture. JavaScript is specifically required here to execute these invisible cryptographic challenges that the server is sending to you in the background. And the cookie, think of that as your digital passport stamp. It proves you passed those challenges and allows you to actually move around the site without being interrogated every 5 seconds. Without these two specific configurations active on your end, that verification successful status, it literally means nothing. The whole process will halt. These are the mandatory keys required to unlock that final gate. Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway of this access protocol brief. We've just seen the mandatory pause designed to trip up those bots. We've explored the complex background verification phase, checking your digital footprints, and we've analyzed the explicit requirement for JavaScript and cookies to execute and record those cryptographic handshakes. The perimeter is incredibly secure, and the rules of entry are perfectly clear. So before you initiate your next connection request, you really have to ask yourself, are your browser settings actually enabled to continue? Because if they aren't, you're going to be stuck at that digital border indefinitely. Thanks for joining us for this critical explanator, and we will catch you in the next brief.